The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Tonight in Atlanta, Cat, another big game, 34 points, 16 rebounds. Knicks down 1 inside of a minute. Towns for 3, not there, but watch what happens. Atlanta in transition. Clint Capella will finish the play to put the Hawks up by 3, and the Hawks go on to beat the Knicks tonight, 121-116. Great to have you with us from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pidto along with Hahn and Wally Szczerbiak. So the Knicks wrap up the road trip at 2-2, now 3-4 on the season, which, by the way, is the same record that they started last year with. But, Alan, for the second straight year, the Knicks were unable to get it done in crunch time. Second straight game, unable to get it done in crunch time, and they had a problem on the boards. Atlanta had 16 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, they got out-physicaled in Houston. They got out-hustled in this game because the Hawks really played this game hard. They're not a good defensive team. It showed in a lot of moments in this game. But they did play hard, and they've got length, and they threw a ton of it at the Knicks and Jalen Brunson. And where this game was lost was really on the offensive board. 16 turned into 27 second-chance points, and, of course, the points in the paint as well. And the Knicks turning the ball over early in the game was also a major issue. So a lot of the little fine-tuning things for the Knicks. But coming into this season, the two things that we talked about that were the concern, the bench scoring. You got 22 off the bench, still not nearly enough. But the other concern was rebounding. Would they still have the rebounding edge that they had all last season? Early in the season so far, Wally, that has not been the case. Karl-Anthony Towns is doing everything he can on the boards. Yeah. But there's just not enough bigs right now to be there when he's not to get rebounds.
Yeah, they had a 5-point lead with a couple minutes to go. They have the more experienced team. They have all-stars on their team. Closer in Jalen Brunson that normally is supposed to close that game out. They're still figuring things out down the stretch of games. They don't know where to be exactly, and it takes a little bit of time. You have to get into those crunch time moments. You got to figure out who's going to take shots when. Jalen Brunson is struggling a little bit now to get his shots up, unlike last year when he could get a shot whenever he wanted in the fourth quarter. He's thinking to himself, should I just do what I did last year, or should I defer to Karl-Anthony Towns a little bit because you have another unbelievable option that can close games also and has done it in the course of his career. They need to figure things out. You know, that Hawks team plays hard. Anytime you're at home, anytime you're on the road in this league and you have a lead in the last 5 minutes and you have a veteran team like the Knicks, you'll take it. You got to close the door. That's 2 games in a row. They have not closed the door when they were right there in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. That takes time.
When it comes to Brunson, we saw it in the Houston game. You called the game. You saw it yourself. We are seeing the league allowing more physicality against guards, against him and drives. Is that starting to have its effect? Because last year, he can get in the paint, couple pump fakes, get on the foul line. We're not seeing that, and we're seeing him as he's driving against length. He's not getting those balls.
He's going to be fine. He's just struggled a few games. He's looking around. He's got different teammates than he's used to. You know, guys need to figure out where Jalen Brunson wants them to be in crunch time moments. That's the hardest thing to figure out as a new team with new pieces, with new guys out there on the floor. To your point, what you brought up at the beginning, your first comment, there are some alarming issues with this team. Defensively, you're not supposed to be letting the Atlanta Hawks that are down 2 major rotation guys score 121 points, dominate you on the boards. Tom Thibodeau is not happy about those stats, 100%, no question. But this team is super skilled. They gave themselves a chance to win this game. They need to figure out how to close games, especially on the road in the last 5 minutes.
All right, Wally, so Brunson took only 3 fourth-quarter shots, finished with 3 points in the fourth quarter. The Knicks, in the game you called, were outscored 9-0 down the stretch. And in this game, you mentioned the Knicks were up 5 with 2:46 to go, and Atlanta won the last 2:46, 16-6.
Yep, and that's because Jalen Brunson he's not being Mr. Clutch like he was last year. I don't know whether he's thinking too much about should I be getting the ball to the other guys because I have a lot of other options and weapons out there. But
the length here is unbelievable.
I know, the length is huge. And, you know, Knicks that was a nice little play. We were almost going to diagram that. That's where they took the
2-point lead.
Yeah, 2 points.
This makes it 5.
5-point lead. Yeah. That's where we thought the Knicks were, you know, going to just run away with this.
Right. 3 minminutes to go, or under 3, and you're up 5.
Win that challenge.
Yeah.
Which is huge. But then this happens. Corner 3, leave them open.
That was a big shot.
Yes. Huge. And Daniels knocks that down. And then this is just bad defense, right, Wall?
Yeah.
Like,
that
guy
was a
cuts.
trap. Guy cuts, makes a nice shot, tie game.
Miss.
Yep, 1-point game. If
Who's
you
running
miss
hard,
from
who's
the
not?
corner,
Yep.
the Hawks are going to steal points. And if you can get transition baskets in the last 5 minutes of an NBA basketball game, that is like candy. And the Knicks are grinding the score in the fourth, and that's the difference.
22 made threes, by the way, for the Knicks, tied for the second most threes they've ever made in the game. But Alan, look at points in the paint. You mentioned the rebounding situation, especially with the issues for the Knicks.
48-41 doesn't look as bad.
But 58-36 points in the paint.
Huge. Yeah, that's a big part of it. And another team shooting a high percentage in the painted area against you, it just goes to, again, the questions about the amount of length that you have on this team, and is it enough? Because you have Karl-Anthony Towns, and then you have other guys that are 6'7". Like, you don't have enough size maybe around, and teams are going in the paint. And you saw a couple of those boards that they just go right over the top and grab them from you. So offensively, 49% shooting, the threes that they're putting up, offensively, there's no concerns here. It's defense, rebounding, and depth right now. Those are the concerns.
All right, guys, let us say hello to Monica McNutt. She helped call the game on the radio tonight, ESPN New York. Monica, great to have you on as always. What do you think?
I feel like I'm left with more questions than answers.
Yeah.
After both of these games, frankly, I get it. We're in the NBA of shooting threes, and I love that for everybody personally as a shooter, right? Let them fly. But I'm struggling with the idea that you give up 58 points in the paint and allow a team to hit 15 threes. Like, I thought this was supposed to be pick your poison. So I've got some real questions. I literally was talking to Tyler on the radio and Pat O'Keefe in our postgame show, like, bad sign, bad games? I have questions regarding these two. But I will say this in terms of the play down the stretch, and this one, the last 2 minutes of the ball game, the play where the block by Karl-Anthony Towns gets overturned is a big momentum play. The Knicks come down. They have an opportunity to score. Karl-Anthony Towns has done a great job in terms of exploiting his mismatch to that point. He has a corner three, guys. That, to me, from seeing it from behind him, unfortunately, he's not balanced, he's not poised, he's fading away on that shot. Credit this Hawks defense that was flying around, that's fine. But to me, his pump fake had been working all night, and if you stand in and get the shot blocked, it's tipped, you have a chance to recover it. But that was the missed shot that led to the big-time pace play when Clint Capella connects with Trae Young on the other end. And this arena, y'all, that felt like a momentum blow that the Knicks just were unable to come back from.
Yeah, you could sense it. It felt like the Knicks were about to take control, and then that just turned in a dime, and all of a sudden the momentum had gone completely the other way. Now, and Wally was just talking about it, Monica, we were so used to this last year with Jalen Brunson making big plays in the fourth quarter, winning plays, clutch plays in the last 5 minutes. And these last couple of games, it looks like when he gets to the fourth quarter, he has really struggled to get to his spot, to get to his shots. And when he does take the shots, he has not made them. What are you seeing with his game right now, late in games?
So my first thought is it is a byproduct of the absence of depth right now. We said at one point on the broadcast, I haven't quite figured out Tibbs's rotation, which we understood when Jalen was going to take his breaks last year. Because of the injuries, it feels like it's a little bit more shuffled. But to me, the first thing that I think of when it comes late is that the starters are still playing monster minutes. That will be helped when Mitchell Robinson, Precious Achiuwa, Cameron Payne are healthy. And so I think there's optimism there. But beyond that, guys, like, Dyson Daniels is one of the best defenders in the league. And in Houston, Fred VanVleet took the matchup personally. When it was Amin Thompson, he took the matchup personally. Like, these are really good defenders that Jalen Brunson is seeing as of late, which to me, I'm in my head like, well, this was the whole point of Karl-Anthony Towns, right? And so I do think that we have to be reminded, as much as we have energy coming off of a game, this is now 7 games in, and we're watching in real time this team figure out chemistry in clutch basketball. I think it's different to figure out chemistry when you're rolling in Miami, when you're rolling in Detroit. It's another thing to figure out chemistry in clutch basketball.
No question. Those last 5 minutes, it's something the Knicks really have to figure out. But, Monica, what's going on with the defense? Giving up 121 points, no Bogdanovich, no DeAndre Hunter. Knicks have to get that back to their defensive identity, don't you think?
Wally, I was, like, mystified by the amount of what looked like open threes, frankly. And so I don't know. Like, I'm watching it and I'm thinking, were Robinson and Hartenstein anchors in a way that allowed everybody else, I don't even want to say to gamble, but to contest more diligently? Like, I'm confused as to why it feels like the defense has shrunk. But I can't say that it's shrunk in a way that has protected the paint when you give up 58 points in the paint. And so I just, tonight in Houston, to me, you were out-athleted. I know that's not a word. Bear with me, English folks.
It is.
But you had 2 younger squads that were athletic, that are very clear in how they're playing basketball. Whether you like it or not, or whether you believe it's going to be winning basketball come April, both of them want to run up and down the floor. And I think when you let a team run up and down the floor, one, they get confident, and meanwhile, it's eating at your legs. And so to me, that is probably the through line in these last two losses.
Monica, great stuff as always.
Yeah.
Have a safe trip home, and we'll see you on Friday night.
Thanks, guys.
All right, up next, we're going to get the post-game comments from Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau as Atlanta wins at 121-116. Also, the guys from the Wally Wall coming up. Welcome back, everyone. The Knicks back home Friday to host Milwaukee. Pre-game at 7, game at 7:30 tonight. The Knicks lose in Atlanta, 121-116. Over to the Wally Wall with Allen and Wally, guys.
Thank you, Bill. We found a couple of plays in here, again, as we're just watching the Knicks and seeing the development and everything else. But one of the stories we've talked about early in the season has been, especially with the injuries, you don't have a lot of depth in scoring. And for Tom Thibodeau, with Cameron Payne out, he had to go deeper into his bench to rookie Tyler Kolek. I know a lot of you Knicks fans out there love seeing him on the court. So we thought, let's show you some of the good that he was able to do in this game. Knocked down a couple of threes, Wally, and got an assist.
He was good. You mentioned 22 points off the bench. That's good production, especially with the heavy minutes that the starters are playing. Kolek knows how to move the ball. Smart player, led the nation in assists last year. Now freeze it right there. There's good penetration by Deuce McBride. Gets in the paint, kicks it out to Josh Hart. Josh Hart doesn't always want that shot. Kolek's ready to go. He's made his first 4 threes in an NBA uniform, a franchise record with the New York Knicks. He has been on fire from outside. This is good ball movement. I'm telling you, the Knicks shot the ball great. This Hawks team, they're not going to defend you very well. They're not a good defensive team. Kolek took advantage. He's ready to go. Nailed that triple. That's good contribution off the bench. And, we'll see if he earns himself more minutes, because that's 2 games in a row where he's played the first half. He's gotten in the game. He's contributed a little bit. He's looked comfortable out there. And we'll see if that earns Tom Thibodeau's trust and he gains more minutes.
And you remember, again, in Houston, he didn't play in the second half. At least he got some second half minutes here and earning more trust. So he gets 8 minutes, 44 seconds. Was a +2 on the court in that time. Two-man game. I mean, this is what you're looking for with Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. Chemistry that has to take time to develop, but when the two of these guys get working together, they are unstoppable.
They should be unstoppable, and this should be the play that's run all the time in the fourth quarter. And here's when they built themselves a 5-point lead. You have a 5-point lead thanks to a nice screen. Freeze it there. Here's Capella helping on Dyson Daniels getting over that screen. That leaves Karl-Anthony Towns moving right into the 3-point line. And this isn't even a clean play. This is going to get the rhythm, the timing, the pass is going to be even more on target as when Jalen Brunson and Towns get into the right frame of mind and they get each other's rhythm and each other's feel. The pass was a little off, but it doesn't matter. Towns steps right into it. Like Brunson's thinking, Towns get to that 3-point line immediately. Towns was just kind of moseying into it, but still, he's so good. He's got a high release. He nails that 3. And to Monica's point, like in crunch time, you're up 5 against the Hawks. Like you should close that game out. Yeah. That's a rare game for the Knicks, and that's something that's going to take a little bit of time for all those guys to get that chemistry to finish these games.
34 points, 16 rebounds for Towns, 5 of 9 from downtown. So the big man can definitely shoot that 3 in a moment like that. Well, the Knicks end this trip with 2 losses, 2-2 on this 4-game road trip. The thoughts of head coach Tom Thibodeau right now, presented by Chase.
Probably our rebounding, the biggest thing.
You guys had talked about, being a step slow the other night, and then again today you guys find yourselves in a hole. It seems like you're fighting all night. Is that just sort of the same thing again?
We started slowly, worked our way back, got the lead. I thought, we had our offense was fine, and then, we're giving them a second and third shot. So they have 16 more field goal attempts. 27 points, and then we were high turnover, so bad combination.
I think it was tied season high. Turnovers just kind of.
Yeah. So usually we do a pretty good job in that area, and we didn't tonight.
What about the rebound you guys allowed off the free throw?
That's tough play, dead ball.
And how about the offense with Jalen down the stretch? Are you happy with the shots that he was able to generate?
Yeah, he's just got to make the reads. He's got to work his way through it. So he's going to make some, he's going to miss some. Just shoot your shots, you know. So.
What game about teams being dangerous? What Trey couldn't create? I think Riche basically doubled his career high.
Yeah, he got going early, and so I felt like we didn't challenge shots the way we needed to at the beginning. And a guy gets confidence, then it's hard to slow him down. So, we probably could have done better in that area.
Something you see on this whole, it's a 4-game trip, long, they've been on the road, I think, almost 10 days.
Yep.
Just
find a way to win, and come out of the trip 2-2. Probably had a chance to win the last 2 as well, and that's where we have to close better. We have to defend, and we got to rebound. We got to keep our turnovers down. If we do those 3 things, you're in position to win.
Welcome back, everyone. The Knicks back home Friday to host Milwaukee. Pregame at 7, game at 7:30. Knicks lose tonight by 5 to Atlanta, even though Karl-Anthony Towns went for 34 and 16. Here he is now after the game.
Carl, the team had a 5-point lead with about 3 minutes left. The Hawks closed on a 16-6 run. What did you see down the stretch about how the team wasn't able to close out this game?
They made shots when they had to make shots. We just did shots when we needed to. Pretty simply put, give credit to them.
You guys, 4-game trip, but 9-10 days on the road. Just kind of, what do you take out of this whole trip?
We started off well. We got some good momentum wins, and just tonight, including myself, I just came out sluggish, and we can't allow that to happen. We gotta impose our will. We gotta play, New York Knicks basketball right from the giddy up. Can't just ease into the game. So, this was gonna hurt. This one's gonna hurt. It's, learning a lesson, but it's gonna hurt because we know what we could have provided the city and everything tonight.
Just harping on the rebounding. What did you see from that area?
I got to do a better job getting the rebounds and instilling energy from the get-up. Like I said, we came out sluggish, and I think one of the things I got to make sure I always do is instill energy into the game, and I came out sluggish. So I take responsibility and accountability for that. These guys work tremendously hard. Our guards are working tremendously hard every night with the matchups we're asking them to do with the way we play defense. So I got to provide energy. I got to do better.
A little hard on himself, wouldn't you say? He went for 34 and 16, so he's doing a great job on the boards. And look at the road trip here over the 4-game stretch, Alan. He's been amazing.
On the road trip, he's averaging 29 and almost 15 a game on this road trip. You see the numbers. These are monster numbers that he's putting up. And, I like Wally that he's talking like a leader. Like, he's saying, put it on me, but I got to do more, I got to do more. I don't know how much more you could do when you're averaging 29 and 15.
No, you're right. And, you can make statements like that when you're performing out there on the court. The true leaders, they back it up with their play. He's playing great basketball out there on the court. He's the new guy that's figuring things out. This is his first 7 games in a New York Knicks uniform. He's got to continue to do what he's doing. The other guys will start to figure out their roles and how they fit. It's just one of those things where at the end of the game, you have to figure out a plan, and you have to play your best basketball. When you have the best players on the floor, which the Knicks have in crunch time, normally that team wins. They have to start executing when the defense is ratcheted up. That's when the big money players are supposed to step up, and that's when Brunson and Towns have to start closing games.
Yeah, and then, again, up 5, they have the ball. Josh Hart takes a 3. It's like this. You love Josh Hart for all the things he can do, but is that the guy you want taking that shot in that moment?
I mean, they didn't get a good look.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So there's a possession there, right? And then, of course, there's the inability to get a rebound, leave an open 3, and then that fast break, which was the momentum killer. So they've got a lot to do, but there's still promise with this team.
Definitely.
Coming to you from the corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. Hawks win at 121-116. Trae Young, big 3 late. We'll be back with more after this. Young had 23 tonight. Welcome back, everyone. So the Knicks will host Milwaukee Friday. Game at 7:30, pregame at 7. Sunday, the Knicks back on the road at the Pacers. Note the start time, 5 o'clock with a 4:30 pregame. And then the NBA Cup begins on Tuesday night. That's a TNT game with the Knicks on the road to take on Philadelphia. So we'll see you on Friday night, the Knicks in Milwaukee. Pregame at 7, game at 7:30. And also stream on MSG Plus now in the Gotham Sports app.